people
Hi there.
involved. And there's Kevin. Hey, welcome back, my friend. So I don't know if you heard. Of course, you heard Chris. You've been listening to from the airport of all places. I know.
Oh, wow.
So thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Oh no, I know. I'm sorry too. You have to actually deal with an airport. But hey, like when you're trying to get user research, Kevin, and you have these different incentives that you offer to provide people, like how does that affect the outcome of or the quality of the information that you receive when you know that they're maybe not in their like natural habitat, so to speak?
Hmm. I think it's interesting because sometimes you will get no feedback if you don't offer to pay them, or you will only get the extremes, right? You'll get the really happy customers, or you'll get the really, really annoyed customers who are going to tell everyone anyways. So I think to get the middle and to get the average person and the average feedback, we almost have to pay. And then we lower the amount down to like the lowest amount we need to not damage the quality and the time it takes to conduct research.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I
Oh,
think, and also, I agree with these extremes because, like, people, if they are invited, especially in these special environments where you create these, and you try to simulate them as to make them as real as possible, but you still invited them. So there's a quid pro quo at play. People want to please you because you invited them. A lot of people really like, oh, thanks for inviting me, thanks for listening to me, I feel so appreciated, and then they don't want to, like, they try to help you, they try to please you because they are people, they are nice, but in the end, like, the inside is a little bit like tainted by that, and then there are these people just say, I know it better, and then they walk all over you, right? And then they say, oh, this and this and this, and then they take pride. And obviously there are insights to glean there, especially between the lines, but if you see them in reality, and you see them using their products, and maybe even not really talking with them, but just watching, I think that those are so insightful moments that you can glean, but it's hard to do. Yeah, you don't often have the chance to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually observe our customers a lot in the product, but then when you mention that you observe them have a problem, they ask questions like, what do you mean? You saw me do what? When? How? And then GDPR gets brought up.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, what some people didn't see, well, not some people, but all people didn't see off stage is in the chat is that you mentioned that your partner is getting their PhD in these types of experiments too. Can you walk us through some of the things that you're understanding from that research and that experience?
Yeah, my partner's PhD is on ethics, and it's about people seeing themselves having ethics. So they're testing altruism, they're testing like perception of character and values. You have to fake these experiments where like people are homeless, and would you give money? And if there's 10 homeless people, would you give the first person all the money, or would you put it evenly amongst the 10, or would you pretend you didn't see them and give them none? And all the scenarios bring out different character traits, different values.
Oh my gosh. And
And there are ways
yeah.
there are ways to conduct these experiments in smart ways, because you need to trick your participants a little bit. You tell them you measure something, but you don't really, you measure something else. And I had this student who did his bachelor thesis, and I really loved his experiment, if you bear with me for a half a minute there.
Yes, please.
And he gave them like two different texts, and he told them, I measure the speed as you read them. And one text was about it was pretty egoistic and like market and liberalist, and one was really like altruistic and a little more social, but just a little bit, not too on the nose. And they didn't know the other text. Obviously every person got one or the other, so they just knew, I'm finishing the text, let's see how quick I am. And then on their way out there, they could decide between like a biological or organic, let's say, or organic snack or a non-organic snack. And he wanted to find out whether he could push their behavior to the organic or non-organic by the text. And the text had no effect at all. But when his girlfriend by accident sat in the same room because she waited for the researcher, if she was sat next to the snacks, people choose the organic snacks because they were being watched. And when they were being watched, they choose the organic one and not the regular one. And there was no cost difference. They could decide. So we got this really nice insight, but almost by accident. because we were not telling the people pretty much the truth. Afterwards we could tell them, yeah, but I like that.
That's really funny
Yeah.
because I relate to that personally, because just after a concert recently, my wife and I were like, "Oh, we're really hungry. We need to stop somewhere. Where should we stop?" And normally, if people were watching us, maybe we would have picked a nicer restaurant. We'd sit down, and
No,
enjoy. But no, we were like, what sounds
get a
really good
burger.
right now? Taco Bell. Come on, let's go get some Taco Bell. And my wife was like, "That sounds great. Let's get some." And I'm like, "No one's watching us. Let's just go through the drive-through real quick." So I can totally relate to that. I see that.
Yeah, pro social behavior is socially normative. So when we are in a social context, we behave differently than not, and we can use that. We can use that to get people make healthier choices, or maybe ecological choices. Yeah.
Now, what I want to ask you both is, where does this research happen in the product development process? Because I know that with a design thinking process, it's all about testing assumptions and iterating on them as quickly as possible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, air quotes. Like where do you see your research happening, and is it part of like a cyclical process that just goes ongoing, or is there like a real linear kind of left, start and end to this? I'll just put it out there to like both of you.
No, I think the way it's supposed to be done would be like all the time and constantly feeding back, like dual track agile, feeding back into like delivery, into like normal executional teams. But I think in reality, there's two realities. Like either research comes in too late, and then someone like me, I say, do it anyways. It'll be useful at some point. We already have the budget and the questions and the candidates, and let's just do it.
Nice.
And then other times it is actually reactive, and it's something like went wrong, and we want to prove it with evidence that's hard that we know it went wrong and that we should kill it. And this is how I get things removed from products. All the other research, I'm being honest,
I've always wondered
it's
that.
so hard to like get people to like change their opinion if they're not involved. Like if they're just receiving a report, it's like a 7 out of 10 chance that they're not going to change their mind, even if the research says it's terrible.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What I'd like to add is, how could you do it other than pretty much all the time? Because in the end, like Kevin already explained the dangers of that, because it's too late to involve yourself. But beforehand, what is it then that you are measuring? You are measuring against, I don't know, paper prototypes, descriptions, or even letting them watch videos. And how valid can that be? You need real stuff to test. Like you need to give either test candidates or customers, and I prefer real customers, real products, real software, and have them use that and get your insights there, independent of your method, and so it's in the process, and because this is way more valid. And I know that's like, this has many labels, but I would just say that's, for me, just normal product development. Don't go test something which is like this castle of clouds where everything is perfect, but go with the real stuff, get your insights, even if it hurts, and then iterate and make it better.
That's awesome. Now, Kevin, one thing you mentioned in your talk, it was this concept of a insights repository, right? And in your last comment, you just said, "Well, let's go ahead and do the research. We have the budget, we have the time, we have the resources for this, and it'll be useful for us at some point in time." I'm curious with both of you, what does that repository look like?
A mess.
Fair.
Always.
Like, how do you organize? Well, obviously you don't, right? No, but like, do you have it, based off of, these are interviews, these are like form, or like contact form submissions. These are, is it like from the origin of things, or is it based off of an area of the product? Like, how do you organize that stuff?
Chris, you go first.
Okay, so I was going to mention the Airtable that you showed, and I thought that was a really a really great approach, because obviously you, as a focus team on researching, you get way more than, for example, Taito, a team of 6, could ever generate. So you need this structure. But a mess, it's always a mess. Like, people are messy, feedback is messy, creation and going and correcting is messy. You can start at one path and say, we always collect it like this in this Miro document, and in the end it's like these 20 places, and you need people who consolidate that. You need, like, in the end, brains are messy, that's why the results are messy, but you need it in the brains. I think you need it in the brains of people who can do something about it. But obviously, the more you collect, the more you can get efforts to structure it. And it's never the tool. The tool is more, it's completely irrelevant, I would say, because what works for you works. You want a visual organization, you want a tabular, a searchable organization, you want an AI powered organization. If it works, it works. It will always be messy anyway,
That makes
I would
sense
say.
to me. Absolutely.
I think I totally agree. I would piggyback on the it's always messy. I think that Airtable that you saw is the beauty of Airtable doing filtering, right? Like
Yeah.
filter by number, filter by alphabetical order. Like it doesn't go in that way, right? It goes in whatever way it goes in, and then we choose a column to filter by or to sort by. And that's the only reason why it looks remotely nice enough to show in a presentation. And that's even the version that we use with the stakeholders. Like that's the inside tool, and then there's like an interface part of Airtable where you make like a dashboard, and the dashboard is even prettier than that because I mean I don't know about you, but like 94 rows of text, images, and colors is very overwhelming.
Yeah.
That
System 2 again, right?
Yeah, with system
Exactly.
2, absolutely. And Kevin, that's exactly where I was going with this is, you talked about, you just mentioned having a dashboard view of this. So it's not like stakeholders or other people who are involved in the decision making, or we'll just say the hippos, they don't have to wade through all that noise. How do each of you package this stuff up so that it does get, like Chris said, in the minds of the right people and stays there, so that this can be an ongoing, fuel for product development? I
You
know
go.
it's a tough one.
I have an answer. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
For me, distilling information, again, it's not about structure. It becomes a question of storytelling. Like, how do you, because like maybe this is the most important and most overlooked skill in big businesses anyway, is convincing others of your opinion. And even if your opinion is informed, it doesn't necessarily mean that you get the right of way, so there's politics involved, but you can reduce politics, and you can reduce pushback if you are explaining it in a way that is good. And uh, independently, again, of the tools, you can just meet someone at a water cooler and tell them, what we learned this, and this means that for us, and wouldn't it be great if, and they like it, and they take that and go for it. You can create, I don't know, a dashboard, you can create a video, you can show, what I always like is show the reality, how it could look like. Use the research it to inform a new paradigm. Show the new paradigm and say, "Well, that is better, right?" So this is maybe the easiest story to tell as a designer, because yeah, that's just what we do, And but in the end, it is storytelling. Make no mistake. It's you need to convince people, and convincing people is always better by, like, entertaining them a bit, as Kevin said. Also, getting their defenses down. You're not providing effort, you're providing a way into a better future, and yeah, the rest is just work. That's easy.
The rest is just work. Okay, so I think there's two like tangible technical answers, and then there's I agree with Chris. Like in the, I don't know, 90th slide of my presentation, I mentioned something around like weekly updates and then open dialogue. So the weekly updates, we started to actually just have a channel for all research. We used to have several, one that did like translation of the NPS comments, one that did like customer service, one that did like deal lost comments from our CRM. And we merged them into one. So like every comment from every salesperson who didn't win a lead or didn't close a lead, every single customer service agent that said, "Hey, there's a product problem from this ticket," and every time we had an NPS comment, it went to one feed. And then we had the research reports also dumped into that feed and then pinned. And that was kind of like the best way we could get people to like not be overwhelmed, follow one channel, and then be able to find everything and search it in one place. And we leverage a lot of AI so that there is a written form of literally everything. So we have the transcripts, we have the notes, we have the meetings, everything is there so that AI can read it, but then also that everyone who's human can do a quick search within Slack and it pulls from the same channel.
Gosh, so almost like democratizing the information and making it as accessible as possible in as many formats as well really helps out, it sounds like.
Yeah, the formats. I realized I was a bit of less a stickler when it came to like formats of things. Like I loved being in the kind of like the research team for like a certain squad or department would like host a meeting, everyone gets an invite, and I would be like, "This is a mandatory meeting, make sure everyone goes," and that's not realistic. Then I said, "Cool, send it a follow-up email with a recording and a transcript," and then that wasn't enough either. And so I said, "Okay, cool, let's just do a report every single week, and then let's do a summary and let's do highlights, and then the highlights go into the newsletter." The newsletter goes to like the C-suite, and then everyone gets the channel, and the channel does like all notification every 7 to 14 days.
There's a whole
I love
system.
that. I love that focus on accessibility or of the information, because if you have these artifacts out there, once the story or the mem or the meme more or less of this idea goes around, if every person who connects with it can get back to this raw data, to this information quickly, like it reinforces like the story. You're not just hearsay, but okay, let's take this customer representative account directly up here, independently if it's in the PO meeting or at the C-suite or wherever. But you need these information accessible, and that's I really like to focus on that, Kevin, because in most big companies that we experience coming from the outside, everything obviously is always siloed. The knowledge is there, the informations are there, but no one has them. Only the people who created them know how to get them. They are somewhere stuck in Confluence, right? In this like 2,000-page Confluence documents. No one ever reads those, right? We need an AI to get hold of all these Confluence pages. But if you obviously there's always this balance between, if you have the more information you have, the harder is this needle in the haystack. But search is we don't need AI. Search is great if the input is structured in a good way, formats, tags, then it's great, and it reinforces these stories.
I just want to I just have one more question before we call this quits here,
right.
and it's just in respect of Vitaly, since he's not here and you've had to put up with me this whole time.
No, you were lovely.
Oh, thank you. And that is like thinking ahead in the future, you love you. If 5 to 10 years, or as Vitaly would say, maybe 5 years from now, what is one piece of advice that you would like to offer yourself, today? If from to your future self.
To me, to us.
Yes.
Okay. Kevin, you go first. I went first all the time.
What would my future self want to hear, need to hear from my past self? Probably nothing I can say now because it's not helpful. Okay, so real talk. I think that I'm probably going to do the same cycle I've done for the last 5 years, is like get really lost in the weeds and forget to come up. Like in the moment right now, I'm in a career transition where I know I prefer leadership. I know I really like enjoy it. My career history has been me going to leadership at really big companies and then going to really small companies and doing IC 0 to 1 work and then going back to leadership roles. So I'm about to take a very senior executive role. and I'm gonna probably miss design and getting my hands dirty and going on research trips
Yeah.
and synthesizing reports. And I'm gonna just remind myself 5 years in the future to just stay the course because I look insane to people.
That's
Uh,
brilliant, especially in your current context. I love that. Chris, how about you? Future you.
So looking back, like seeing how just life and work and everything got more and more complex and stressful and interesting as well, and maybe professional, let's say, over the time. I have just one suggestion for standing here, because I have no idea where I am in 5 years. I would just say
Yeah.
chill, breathe, and take in the view, and enjoy,
Yes. Big hearts
chill.
all over. Chill.
It's a
Keep calm,
challenge today,
Gary.
it will remain a challenge. Yeah.
No, thank you both so much for hanging out, even after your talks, and for making time for this entire event. It's like you have given us so much to think about, and I
Thank you
appreciate.
too,
Oh,
all
thank
of
you.
you. There's you and you and
Oh,
you
yes,
and you and
you
you
just
and you and
have
you.
to know that there's so many great people here. I mean, Amanda's been running the slides this whole time, and also,
Yeah.
we're gonna bring Jaren in here because he's gonna wrap us all up with some, just end of the event stuff. In fact, let's go ahead and bring him on out. You want to come on out here? Come on, let's all pull him out from the backstage.
Hi,
There he is. There he
Jaren.
is. So with
Hello.
that, I'll let you wrap things up for us.
That's awesome. First of all, Geoff, don't ever say again that you're letting people down, because from now on I've just replaced you to do whatever event we're doing with Vitaly, no matter what Vitaly is gonna say. Yeah, awesome job.
I
Uh,
don't know about that,
uh,
but thank
Poor
you.
Vitaly.
yeah. Kevin and Chris, it was amazing to I mean, see you again in some cases, or see you for the first time. You both did a fantastic job. I just want to wrap things up and say, this is not the only events that we do at Smashing. A lot of you already have been either to these events or have been at Smashing Hour, either with Geoff or with Vitaly. But we do more, and I'm quite happy to say that from next week onwards, we've got our first two in-person conferences for next year live on the site again. So we've got Freiburg again in early September and New York again in early October. We're just literally typing away, doing the last commits to be able to put those on the site and put those on sale. Smashing members obviously get the usual nice little discounts. We're doing early bird, so it's great stuff. For those of you who are not a Smashing member yet, good discounts, free ebooks, like lots of the stuff that we do. Check it out. It's really, really nice. Other than that, we still got a couple more days of bundle up stuff. So you got books, workshops with 30% discounts. It's just make advantage of it. I think the Black Friday thing, we can stretch it till I don't know. I've been seeing it, I think, for a couple of weeks. We don't really do that, but this is just a nice little discount. And final thing, there you go, Amanda, you're ahead of me. We've got a lot of online workshops on a lot of topics. I don't think we've ever had this many online workshops on the schedule, and they're really amazing. Online, but with an actual teacher there, like sets of 2.5 hours of intense but good and fun learning. So lots of stuff happening in the Smashing universe, and like that kind of wraps up our event for today. Practically speaking, everyone will get an email with the videos. We try to get the slides from the speakers in the Google Docs, and I'll try to put those in the email as well. And as always, if you have any questions or any kind of stuff that you want us to do, reach out to us, and we'll see if we can bring out those speakers to our events. For now, Geoff, thanks, man. You were awesome.
Thank you. You're awesome.
And I hope to see all of you peoples soon again, either online or with us in person next year.
That's right. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.